What is up, YouTube? James Baek here, and welcome back to another episode of VGC 2018 Baek Battles. Today, we are using this Mega Camerupt team with Mega Camerupt, Gothitelle, Amoonguss, Scrafty, Tapu Koko, Mimikyu. And if you haven't checked out the previous episode, I highly recommend checking it out. But yeah, mixed feelings about this team right now. I haven't really played it again ever since I built it like over a month ago, I think. Yeah, it was like a month ago. And so I decided to try the ladder, but then I just ended up losing and kept getting frustrated. So ended up resetting my rating because I really didn't like my win-loss ratio. So starting over, which wasn't too bad because to be honest, I think I dropped to the 1600s, like normal 1600s, the low ones. So yeah, it wasn't exactly the best of times for me. But let's see if we can pick up some wins in today's episode. Really hoping to, because the last couple of battles I did play with this team, I have won ever since. So, gonna get into the game right away. And this is something I kind of struggled with, except Snow Incineroar. So, we got the Gardevoir, Amoonguss, Landorus Variant, Zapdos, Celesteela, and Tapu Fini. 5 Pokemon out of the 6 that the Razor VGC, Conan Wild, a player in Europe, did make a team up for this for Doubles Battle Spot. It grew very popular, especially there's this one player in Japan who got into top 10 of Doubles Battle Spot with it. So there's an Incineroar and Celesteela, which is actually really good for me because Incineroar was probably one of the Pokemon that gave me the most trouble with that team. Because I've been seeing a lot of variants of this team around. How do I want to handle this, I guess, is the question. I think I want to go... I think Tapu Koko is a pretty safely. Like, Tapu Koko can just Volt Switch around. Mimikyu's also pretty good, I think. Although Amoonguss could be annoying. I'm not sure if you bring Amoonguss, though. I see Tapu Fini, Gardevoir. I'm not sure if you bring Zapdos. I see Landorus and maybe Celesteela. Yeah, I definitely see those 4. So, based on that, I really don't need Scrafty in this matchup. Oh, we're running out of time. I think I want to go... You know what? I'm going to leave Gothitelle Camerupt with Amoonguss and Tapu Koko in the back. This could be a bad idea because I don't exactly have anything that can really slow down that Landorus now. However, I wanted Amoonguss because the ability to Rage Powder or Spore could be nice. Although I don't think I'm going to because I got my own terrain up. But Rage Powder could be something really helpful in this game. Like, redirecting any attacks from my Pokemon are really great in this game. So it's going to be Gardevoir Amoonguss going to lead. So Camerupt is looking pretty good here. I can at least say that. And my opponent is trapped here. So, yeah, I can say at least one good thing about this currently. As the Gardevoir. That was also one thing that screwed me. Gardevoir, when I played this team earlier, it traced Shadow Tag. And that was really frustrating for my Scrafty. So, because I let Gardevoir Scrafty into this. But... yeah, I'm actually going to double protect right here because I want to scout what my opponent's going to do. Maybe it's going to be, like, Amoonguss can't switch out. It's probably going to want to protect here. Maybe just fire off a Spore right away. But what I want to do is double protect, scout what my opponent's going to do, then go out into my Tapu Koko and Heat Wave. My opponent could predict this very easily. However, I feel like it is my best play no matter what I do. So I will get Camerupt to Mega Evolve here. And let's see what my opponent decides to opt for. Maybe just a Hyper Voice, just goes for the Psychic right away. Or maybe Trick Room to set up the Amoonguss, but I doubt Trick Room's coming up. Unless maybe anticipating my own Trick Room here. No Protect from Amoonguss, okay. Although some of them don't carry Protect. As we're going to see Hyper Voice just come out, and I'm guessing Spore? Yep, just Spore, okay. Into Gothitelle, actually. Okay, that works. So now I can go out into my Tapu Koko, which is very safe here. It shouldn't go down to 1 Hyper Voice, and Heat Wave is going to do a massive amount of damage, even if my opponent decides to, you know, go for Protect with Amoonguss. Now I get a lot of damage onto Gardevoir. Gardevoir can't really pick up a knockout. Maybe 2 Psychics can, which I guess could be scary if you protect Psychic right here. Yet at least I'm preventing Spore from ever coming up in the game. Although I could always switch out on Amoonguss, which is fine. Very cool move. That was really cool. Encore, no Trick Room. Okay. So that is something I had not seen at all. Okay, so I'm going to go in Amoonguss and Volt Switch out with my Koko back into Camerupt. What? What? I can't believe that, man. Okay, so I'm gonna withdraw my Camerupt here. Go out to Mungus. And Volt Switch out on what I'm assuming to be a Hyper Voice. Could be a Sludge Bomb too. Volt Switch does a good amount. Thunderbolt might be able to pick up a knockout. It's looking to be a very offensive Gardevoir. But actually what I could do is just go out on my Gothitelle because it also traps these Pokemon. And I could just go for the switch next turn and a Heat Wave. Hyper Voice is going to come out because I don't want like Camerupt taking too much damage right away, since it is a key member in this game, as we're going to see the Clear Smog actually come out into my Gothitelle as well. Not going to be able to pick up a knockout. And Hyper Voice is definitely not going to be able to pick up a knockout, since there's no... I really doubt this Gardevoir's Trick Room, if it has Hyper Voice. Encore, you want to assume Protect Psychic, I would assume. So I'm actually going to switch out my Amoonguss, go hard into Camerupt, and Trick Room up. Yeah, I feel like it's a safe play. I feel like it's the safest play I can make. And we'll see what my opponent decides to do here. This also could be very scary because of the future turns ahead. But I will withdraw my Amoonguss here and go out into Camerupt. As long as I don't get crit by Psychic or Hyper Voice here on the switch, I should be good. Hyper Voice is going to come out, just don't crit Gothitelle, and we'll be able to eat the berry and come back healthy. Yep, nice. Nice. So Gothitelle going to be able to eat up its Weaky Berry. Yeah, Weaky Berry. And Clear Smog going to go out into the Gothitelle. Nice. And I get Trick Room up. Nice. So excellent turn for me basically, because now I get to click Helping Hand Heat Wave. My opponent can't switch out. I'm in a very solid position. My opponent's either going to double protect to stall out Trick Room, or protect one and probably sack the other to get into a more advantageous position. I would protect Amoonguss, although my opponent might want Gardevoir alive, which would be fine for me, to be honest. If Tapu Fini wants to come in, I do have the Nature's Power. I can switch terrains, obviously. However, the mind game is if Amoonguss protects and Gardevoir gets sacked there, Tapu Fini gets in. What do I do next turn? Do I Heat Wave, or does my opponent go for Rage Powder potentially to redirect a potential Nature's Power? I don't know. There's still a lot of questions that my opponent could make, and I don't have the answers to. So let's see what my opponent's going to opt for. This is still a very scary position too. Helping Hand, obviously no switches. No protects. I do connect both Heat Waves. Nice, so I get a double knockout, most likely, unless it's Focus Sash. Yep. Excellent. That is what I wanted. So I get to knock out onto both of those Pokemon, and we're going to see what's coming out. Tapu Fini and Landispharian, I would assume. We still don't know the Z-move slot for my opponent, which is also annoying. Celesteela is actually going to come in. Okay, so that's one Pokemon I don't have to worry about. And Tapu Fini, that's another Pokemon unless it's Walking Berry. But Walking Berry is not very common on Tapu Fini. So right here, what I can do is just go out into my Tapu Koko, because it's Electric Seed, Celesteela. Oh, Misty Seed, Misty Seed. Man, I haven't actually seen that. I haven't seen Misty Seed, Celesteela since Worlds. And it was a team I faced at the Pokemon World Championship in the last round of Swiss. And it didn't even have a Tapu Fini on the team. So, alright. Go into Tapu Koko. Go for Nature's Power. Like, I'm very confident of how I can win this. Even, like, since it's Misty Seed Celesteela, it can't pick up the knockout on Camerupt unless it gets maybe a crit Earthquake here. I hope there's no crit Earthquake, but Nature's Power into Tapu Fini and a switch into Tapu Koko just seems too good to be true. And, yeah. And if it is Walking Berry, can't knock out my Tapu Koko, which is good. And Walking Berry isn't a very common item on Tapu Fini anyways. Usually leftovers, a 50% berry, or usually it's the Choice Specs. So no protects coming out here. It's going to be the Nature's Power turning into Thunderbolt with the Electric Terrain. Should be able to pick up a knockout onto that Tapu Fini, which it does. Very powerful Nature's Power. As we're going to see the Acrobatics. Oh, that's interesting. Going to go into Tapu Koko, unfortunately, so not going to be able to do much damage at all. And I do want to save Tapu Koko, to be honest. How many turns of Terrain are left? 2 turns of Trick Room left. I'm going to go into Amoonguss, actually. And just go for Nature's Power, because I don't have to worry about it missing. So I want to keep Tapu Koko alive, because what if my opponent does have Earthquake and gets a crit on Camerupt, while obviously being able to live the attack of Nature's Power because of its Misty Seed, and then KO on my Tapu Koko, then it's a Moongus and Gothitelle versus the world. I don't want that happening, so I want at least one way to hit the Celesteela in the end game, but my opponent might not have Earthquake, so just Force Fits. So we are going to be able to take a win against that one. I feel like, you know, the Encore reveal was huge, but I was just, even after the Encore, I was just able to get myself in an advantageous position where I was just going to be able to set up Trick Room. My opponent, leading Gardevoir Moongus, didn't really have much offensive pressure against the Camerupt unless able to go for the Psychic. I think my opponent had to make some really big calls there. And luckily, didn't make like a huge Psychic. Well, even if my opponent did make the huge calls and, like, let's say Psychic in the Camerupt, you still need a crit. You still need a crit for some momentum, and you would have needed to Giga Drain that slot as well. Most likely, if my opponent did have Giga Drain. Because with Clear Smog, I would assume it's Rage Powder, Spore, Clear Smog, and then Grass type move. I feel like you might need a Grass type move all the time now, just because of the fact that, you know, Rain is definitely a big scary option, especially with Mega Swampert. That's definitely a very scary Pokemon to deal with that kind of team, because Mega Swampert can do a lot of damage, especially since you don't have that Tricker mode. You don't have to fake out pressure because of the Pokemon you chose. It's just really hard. But yeah, we're going to be able to take a win there, and hopefully we are going to be able to get another battle soon. But I think, yeah, I don't really... What could I have done better in that last battle, I guess, is the question. I guess maybe just went for a Heat Wave right away, to be honest. But I didn't want to take a Spore. Maybe I could have went to Coco, but I was worried about to protect the Moongus Scout. And then, like, if I switched on the Topico turn 1 and the Moongus protected, I would have got damage on the Gardevoir if it didn't protect. And even if it did or didn't, like, no matter what, like, my opponent would have been able to switch next turn. So either way, like, yeah, I wanted to keep the trap as long as possible to gain the best possible position. We find Diego too. Also, that was a weird sound I made. Sorry, people. But we got Tapu Lele. We got Stakataka. Love saying that. The Tyranitar Escadrille, Amoonguss, and Mega Salant. So this is a really interesting take on Japan Sand. Tapu Lele is really scary. It really is scary. Okay, there are a lot of Pokemon that are scary, and I don't exactly have the best answers to it. I think I actually want to lead Gothitelle plus my Mimikyu here, have Scrafty plus Camerupt in the back. I don't know, this game seems like a question mark. Gotta grab my charger, but yeah, because it really depends on what my opponent brings, right? Because Scrafty's not a good lead against this team because of the threat of Salamence plus Tapu Lele, and I want to assume at least one of them will lead. But Scrafty's really good against any other combination of what my opponent brings here, like Tyranitar, for instance. I think Gothitelle plus Mimikyu is an interesting lead, but it works here if my opponent decides to bring the Tapu Lele, which I definitely feel like it would be because it's able to knock out a Moongus and pressure with Taunt, potentially. I don't know, we'll see here. I'm going to lock in. I don't think a Moongus is really helpful in this matchup. Tapu Koko could be very helpful though in this matchup, but I just didn't see its value if I'm trying to get this game where a Trick Room could potentially sweep. Not sure if Stakataka will make an appearance. I definitely could just see Tyranitar, Escadrille, Salamence, and the Lele? No, I said Lele, Salamence, Escadrille, Tyranitar, yeah. Or maybe a Moongus. I could definitely see those 5, like, just being strong enough on their own. So we're going to see Tyranitar, Escadrille lead here. Which is fine, actually, because even though my opponent decided to lead this, like, I don't see a problem with just protecting my Gothitelle and going out in Scrafty. Like, there's nothing really costly about that play. Maybe if, like, Tyranitar goes for, like, a Dragon Dance if it carries it. Usually on Japan Sand, it's going to be a Choice Card Tyranitar. Or maybe it's, like, Swords Dance, Escadrille with Z-Move. That could be very scary, I guess. But otherwise, or if they set up both, that would be really frightening here. Tyranitar is just going to protect, which is okay here. I'm guessing that's an Earthquake then. Or maybe just a Rock Slide. I would Rock Slide here if I was my opponent because I would try to get the flinch, but maybe it doesn't carry Rock Slide. Yeah, just Rock Slide. Okay. So don't know what the protect was with Tyranitar because I don't think any of these Pokemon really have anything that could threaten the Tyranitar, but I guess that works out for me because now I get to fake out the Tyranitar because I want Gothitelle definitely healthy. So I'll just Trick Room here and fake out the Tyranitar. Or maybe like Maybe my opponent predicted Scrafty to come in, want to protect there. Because you probably know I have to fake out the Tyranitar next turn. So maybe, I don't know, like, I guess maybe could have got more damage off. But I get a fake out into Tyranitar now, which is going to Iron Head. Into Scrafty though, so Scrafty's going to be able to eat that. Tyranitar does flinch, and I will be able to get the Trick Room up. So Trick Room is up. We have 5 turns to abuse it, and well, 4 turns after this. Don't know if Tyranitar's going to protect this turn, but I would assume so. I think just protect Gothitelle, because even if Tyranitar doesn't protect, like, can't really do much to Scrafty unless it has superpower. And I'll Drain Punch the Escadrille, which I don't expect it to KO, to be honest. I feel like it would do like 90%. Even with max attack Scrafty, I mean, Scrafty isn't that strong. So Gothitelle protects, Tyranitar is going to protect, so I do call it right. I need to get, like, with Trick Room teams, you have to get, like, that momentum. And either way, this play works out, even if Tyranitar attacked, really. But Drain Punch in Escadrille, which should put it in range of a Psyshock. So Scrafty going to be able to heal up all that HP. Z-move coming out from this Escadrille, it's going to be the Tectonic Rage, actually. So my opponent does carry the Z-move, and we do find out it's on the Escadrille, so I don't have to worry about, like, Shattered Psyche, Tapu Lele in the late part of the game. So it's going to be that Tectonic Rage, and this is going to do a massive amount of damage, if it's targeting Gothitelle, which is also another reason why I want to protect the Gothitelle, in case it was like a double up. Because this trap, as you can see, it's really working against my opponent. Like, Gothitelle is such a good mon, being able to trap these Pokemon here. But now what I can do is just Psyshock the Escadrille and Drain Punch the Tyranitar. I'm going to be able to pick up a KO no matter what. And even if Escadrille protects right here, like, I already got a lot of momentum. I think the best play, which could get my opponent back into the game, is by protecting Tyranitar right now. But even then, like, you attack Escadrille, and then Tyranitar's under pressure the following turn. But my opponent does go for the protect there, which I definitely do see. But Psyshock, going to be able to pick up the knockout on Escadrille. And since the Tyranitar failed the double protect, Drain Punch going to be coming through here. And are you Chople Berry? Nope. So Drain Punch should be able to pick up the knockout on Tyranitar. Yep. So that's 2 knockouts right there. Very important knockouts too. So we'll see what my opponent's last Pokemon are. So Tapu Lele plus Salamence is still scary. Really, mostly, I'm just worried about, like, the Salamence. The Salamence is scary. We'll see if Salamence was brought, though. I would assume it would be. Stakataka. Huh. Stakataka and Tapu Lele. Okay, I don't really have to worry about Stakataka because of my Camerupt, and I don't really have to worry about, yeah, I don't really have to worry about these Pokemon, to be honest. I have Camerupt for the Stakataka in the back. Sheer Force Earth Power should still be able to knock it out, to be honest. Oh, could be Ally Switch. That could be Ally Switch. I think I'm going to Psyshock here and Snarl, because it avoids a potential Ally Switch, which I could definitely see coming out here. It's just Gyro Ball, okay. Into Scrafty? Okay. That does a lot. It's Life Orb, okay. So I guess Psyshock, bit of chip onto that Tapu Lele. Always that nice little chip is important. And Snarl does connect with the Tapu Lele as well as the Stakataka, so I get that little lowering of that Tapu Lele special attack, which is really crucial here. As we're going to see the Moonblast come out, and that's going to be targeting down my Gothitelle. Yep. Although Gothitelle really not doing too much, and it looks like, yeah, really not doing too much. I'm guessing it wasn't like a Choice Specs or Choice Scar variant, really. Scrafty could still be useful, but I don't want to really risk Camerupt or my... Yeah, I don't think it's really worth risking my Camerupt or my Mimikyu's Disguise right here, so I'll just Snarl and Psyshock again. There's really no reason not to. Rockslide going to come out, maybe trying to predict a switch. Oh, that just knocks out Scrafty. Oh, you get 2 Beast Boosts. Is this the last turn of Trick Room 2? Hold up, this game might not be over yet. Oh, it's just defense, okay. If it's just defense, I'm not really too worried. If it was attack, like the Lonely Nature, and Trick Room did wear out this turn perfect. So I can go out on a Mimikyu, and I can go out into Camerupt with that Snarl. Plus the fact there's no Z-move, I didn't have to worry about, like, you know, Specs Lele picking up the knockout on Camerupt here. So I'm going to be able to get a Earth Power. We'll be able to knock out the Stakataka. And Should just be able to Z Destiny, well, not Z Destiny, Never Ending Nightmare, and Earth Power, the Stack Attacker. Although I'm not sure, well, you should be min speed Stack Attacker because of the fact Gyro Ball. So even if Camerupt's max min speed, it should still outspeed the Stack Attacker. So let's see. There is an ally switch coming out, okay. Which doesn't really hurt me too much. I still get the Never Ending Nightmare. So there was an ally switch, but it wasn't from the Stack Attacker. It was from Tapu Lele. I mean, Never Ending Nightmare is not going to hurt the Stack Attacker at all. It really isn't. But no matter what, again, Earth Power into Tapu Lele, and it still might be able to pick up the knockout, to be honest. We also don't know how much damage this Stack Attacker will do with Rock Slide. Earth Power into the Tapu Lele. Let's actually pick up the knockout, so that should be game unless Stack Attacker can pick up the knockout on Camerupt right now. It's just going to be Rock Slide too. Camerupt avoids the attack, but I don't think it matters. A critical hit, I don't think would have even knocked out this Camerupt anyway. So yeah, I did expect an ally switch earlier in the game, but it reveals now, but it's at a point where it really doesn't matter because the ally switch ended up costing my opponent the Tapu Lele. The Tapu Lele would have needed to survive there, but Mega Camerupt showing off its power right there. And I'm just going to taunt. And, well, I don't have to reveal anything. You should know I'm Physical Mimikyu by the damage. So I'll just Shadow Claw and Earth Power. There's really no way my opponent can win at this point because Camerupt will outspeed and pick up the knockout no matter what. The Shadow Claw into the Stack Attacker will do no damage, but the Earth Power will be able to pick up the KO. So we're going to be able to pick up another win there. Nice. And yeah, it's just such a scary thing when handling Gothitelle. I think it just shows. I think the next few episodes, including this one, can just show the power of Gothitelle. Like Gothitelle with Perish, like Gothitelle with Shadow Tag is just such a scary Pokemon to deal with. It really is. The ability to prevent big switches, and yeah. Facing opposing Gothitelle with this team is also really annoying. I've actually faced a few opposing Gothitelle, and it's been annoying to deal with opposing Shadow Tag. Especially since if you decide to switch out your own Gothitelle, you lose the trap, plus the fact that you're trapped in with both your Pokemon unless you can Ghost type or Volt Switch, which obviously this team can. But like we did in the last episode, we faced a Parasong team, but that Parasong team didn't have any means of offense, so yeah, yeah. Like, against teams with more offensive pressure or better mons to handle the rest of my team, like, it's going to be hard to deal with that Shadow Tag. But we got Benjamin as our next opponent. Very standard team. We got the Tapu Fini, Kangaskhan, Cresselia, Zapdos, the Heatran, and Landorus. Very, very standard team. And this is going to be a tough one. Tough one for sure. I think the 4 Pokemon I want to bring will be Gothitelle, Scrafty. Amoonguss isn't really great here. I want to go Coco for the Nature's Power and the Camerupt. So I don't really like the matchup here depending on what kind of Tapu Fini is. If it's Calm Mind, it's problematic because I don't know if Nature's Power can knock out the Tapu Fini after a Calm Mind boost. Zapdos is going to be annoying with Misty Seed. I mean, Misty Seed, Zapdos really shouldn't be able to touch my Camerupt since they usually run like Tailwind, Roost, Thunderbolt, and then like, you know, a filler move like HPI's Heat Wave, Protect. But yeah, like being able to stall out my Trick Room turns is definitely annoying, especially since Zapdos can just get some good damage onto the rest of my Pokemon. It does pretty good damage against Gothitelle as well as the Scrafty, and can hit Tapu Koko for a good amount of damage. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one, especially since my opponent does have a lot of pretty bulky mons, and I don't really have a good way to abuse like super effective hits other than the Heatran, and I don't really have a good move against the Landorus. I can only really slow it down or fire off a Helping Hand Heat Wave, hope it picks up the knockout. The Z move, it also could be on Zapdos. I kind of would expect Misty Seed on this team, and could be Groundium Z Landorus as well, I guess. But yeah, like it's going to be hard. I have to determine where the Z move is. If it's Z move Zapdos, that's I think a lot easier to handle. If it's Z move Landorus, could be a bit tricky. So Cresselia Heatran's going to lock in here. Which against a Scrafty, it's not really that great for my opponent here. It really isn't that great here for my opponent. As I get intimidated off onto nothing really. Unless this is Skill Swap Cresselia. If it's Skill Swap Cresselia, that could actually be a problem. Okay, it was lagging right there. Could fake out Trick Room. My opponent could do the same thing. I think I'll just fake out the Heatran. I'm not sure if it's Skill Swap Cresselia on this team. Like, most Cresselias still don't run Skill Swap anymore. It used to be a more common move in the past, but not really seen too much anymore, although I guess the possibility is still there. I mean, Skill Swap Cresselia did help a lot in 2015. Not really common as I've seen it more. It's gonna be Sunny Day, okay. I was worried more about like a Sunny Day, what's it called? Sunny Day Inferno Overdrive, I guess. I will Trick Room up. I can't tell if this is Trick Room on my opponent's side or not. If it is, the Heatran could go for Trick Room. I mean, the Cresselia could go for Trick Room and Heatran could go for Protect. I think the best play is just to Drain Punch here. The Heatran and just Trick Room again. Although Cresselia, I guess, could go for Helping Hand, and then like Heatran could go for like Inferno Overdrive into my Scrafty if it is a Z move on Heatran. So that, no matter what, like I still don't like my position too much. Although maybe I guess I could have targeted down the Cresselia with Helping Hand knockoff. It wouldn't pick up the KO, but it would still do a lot. As Heatran decides to stay in and take the Drain Punch, so about 60% doing to that Heatran. Nice. As Heatran actually sets up the substitute, and I have Snarl. Ooh. Ooh, and he goes for Trick Room. Nice. Okay. That works out in my favor. That definitely works out in my favor. As Trick Room's reset for me, which is really good here. Plus the fact now I can go for Snarl and probably knock out that Heatran to Protect, I would imagine. I'll just Helping Hand Snarl here just to be safe too. I'm not sure if Heatran might Protect here. But I'm just going to Helping Hand Snarl because it does hit that Cresselia for bit of damage, can knock out the Heatran, and it's mind games now between me and my opponent. Do I go for Trick Room again? Does he go for Trick Room? Does he predict me to go for Trick Room to get back to Trick Room? Like, there's so many mind games right here. As, ooh, Cresselia goes for the Helping Hand, so if I land the Snarl, it's perfect. It's perfect right here. Perfect turn. Nice, I land the Snarl. That should be able to knock out the Heatran. Yep, and I lowered the Cresselia special attack, and I get to keep Trick Room up. So basically, this is looking like a great start here. So let's see what my opponent's going to bring out next. I would assume Landorus? I want to assume Landorus. Kangaskhan, okay. Man, the first few turns were really good for me, though. I don't want to lose momentum here. Not sure if you fake out Gothitelle. I wouldn't imagine so. I would think you would fake out the Scrafty if anything. So I'm actually going to go hard in the Tapu Koko and Psyshock because I feel like you might fake out the Scrafty. You might go straight for the low kick, which I could definitely see. I feel like you would low kick the Scrafty potentially, maybe double edge. But I don't know. I feel like you would low kick if anything. Actually, maybe this was a really bad call now looking back because if I lose my Tapu Koko, I'm in a very bad spot against the Tapu Fini if it is in the back. Not too bad, but it could be threatening. So Tapu Koko is going to come out here. I'm really hoping it's not a double edge. If it's a fake out or, you know, low kick, that would be great here. As next turn I could Volt Switch out potentially and just go back into Scrafty, get Intimidate off. Like, that's what I was trying to do here, but we'll see what's coming out. Just going to be that fake out. Okay, it's going to go out into the Gothitelle slot, so I don't mind that at all. Let's see if the opponents have Trick Room. Yep, it's reverse Trick Room. Excellent. So that really works out in my favor, actually. That really works out in my favor. Because now I can Trick Room up. And I can Volt Switch the Kangaskhan. Yeah, I'll Volt Switch the Kangaskhan because if my opponent decides to go for double edge, it should put in range of Drain Punch 100%. And even if Kangaskhan protects here, which is probably like the only play I guess that could kind of screw this up. Like, Cresselia isn't going to be able to do much to Tapu Koko anyway. So no matter what, I'm in a very solid position right here just to do a lot of work. I wonder if my opponent didn't bring Tapu Fini, as we do see Kangaskhan just go for the Protect here. Okay. Volt Switch. Maybe I should just Volt Switch Crest. Just Icy Wind. Okay. That works. I'll take that. Critical hit on Gothitelle doesn't really matter here. And I will get Trick Room back up. And actually, funny thing is, because of the Icy Wind, Tapu Koko should actually be slower than the Kangaskhan, I would imagine. So, if you go for that play, so I can just go for... I could Helping Hand Gigavolt Havoc the Kangaskhan. Is that the play? Yeah, I would say it's the play. Let's try it. Should be able to knock out the Kangaskhan. And if my opponent reverses Trick Room, great, because if it is Tapu Fini in the back, I could hit that thing up with a Helping Hand Thunderbolt as well. Seems very solid for me right now. Of course, this could be a slow Kangaskhan, so I could be risking quite a bit. If it's slow Kangaskhan with like a lot of bulk investment, could be a bit troublesome. But if you're going for Icy Wind there, I have to assume like you at least have enough speed investment to outspeed Tapu Koko at -1. So Helping Hand, both coming out from our opponents. Maybe trying to expect a Scrafty switch. But nice. Electrium Z is going to activate from my trainer. So that means the Gigavolt Havoc should be coming out here and will be able to do a massive amount of damage to Kangaskhan, hopefully picking up that knockout. So Gigavolt Havoc coming through. So it's Icy Wind, Helping Hand, Trick Room, Sunny Day. Okay, we've seen all four of Cresselia's moves, so it doesn't exactly have Psychic. So no matter what, I just have to get rid of the last Pokemon and I win. So Kangaskhan going down there. Nice. And my opponent's down to the last two Pokemon, and Cresselia really not going to be able to do too much. So let us see. Is it Tapu Fini like I would imagine? But Tapu Fini would have probably came in earlier, I would have to assume. So maybe a Landorus Variant? I don't know. I can't imagine Tapu Fini being the last Pokemon if it could have been brought out earlier. Like, I cannot imagine that. It is Tapu Fini, though. Okay, still a problematic Pokemon to deal with, but still not the worst for me. I will sack Scrafty, since Scrafty really doesn't do much in the rest of this game. So I'll Psyshock the Tapu Fini and go out on Scrafty. I need chip damage on the Fini. I really could care less about the Cresselia. If it just keeps going for Icy Wind, I can leave Cresselia alone for it to do anything. Icy Wind, Trick Room, go ahead. It doesn't matter to me. So the only problem is my opponent's probably going to be able to set up some Calm Minds if it is Calm Mind Tapu Fini. If it isn't Calm Mind Tapu Fini, if it specs Tapu Fini, that makes it a lot easier, but we'll see here. Just a Moonblast coming out. We're going to confirm if you're specs right now. You are specs. You have to be specs. Or you're just offensive Tapu Fini. And Trick Room is going to be reversed. Excellent. So Tapu Koko comes out. And even if my opponent goes for Icy Wind, it can't... Like, my opponent can't pick up the knockout onto my Tapu Koko. Well, actually, you could pick up the knockout on Tapu Koko if you're specs. But if you're not specs, you're not going to pick up the knockout on Tapu Koko with an Icy Wind plus Moonblast. So Helping Hand here plus Thunderbolt should seal up the game for me. I'm assuming this is specs. If it's just offensive, it protects here. But if it is just offensive, it can't knock out Tapu Koko. Well, actually, no, it can with Helping Hand Cresselia. I forgot about the Helping Hand potentially. But first, my opponent has to get Speed Control method, and that method would have to be Trick Room. That method would absolutely have to be Trick Room. And if it is Trick Room and Protect, let's say on Tapu Fini, then I'm going to have to play some mind games against my opponent. So, Helping Hand going to come out from my Gothitelle. As, nope, no Protect. So I'm assuming your specs. Thunderbolt's going to be able to knock out the Tapu Fini. And that's going to be game because Cresselia cannot touch my team. Icy Wind can do little bits of chip right there, but can't really do much. As my opponent is going to set up Trick Room, but, you know, Tapu Koko just going to be able to fire Thunderbolts. Gothitelle can just keep Helping Hand. And now be game. So very, very nice. We didn't even have to bring the camera up. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. As we are going to go for Helping Hand Thunderbolt right here. And that's definitely going to be able to pick up the knockout onto Cresselia. Well, not pick up the knockout on Cresselia this turn, but it's going to be able to pick up Cresselia in the next 2 or 3 turns. Depending on if it has like a 50% berry. And also how bulky this Cresselia is. But yeah, there's absolutely no way for my opponent to win. Yep. Icy Wind, Sunny Day, Trick Room, Helping Hand. No possible way. My opponent taking the time. The match is going to be forfeited. And we will be taking 3 wins in today's episode. So yeah, after a rough laddering session that I did, it feels good to come back, show what I've learned with this team after losing a bunch and coming back to record an episode with 3 victories. So thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of VGC 2018 Back-to-Back Battles. If you did like this video, please leave a like down below. It shows your support, as well as you can check out the rest of the stuff down below, such as the previous episode if you missed it, the playlist of VGC 2018 Back-to-Back Battles, the side series on the channel, my social medias, and a whole bunch more. You can also feel free to recommend this video to a friend or anyone you would think that would enjoy it, as well as leave a comment down below, because I do try to read them. So thank you all for tuning in, and have a good day, people. I will see you around in the next video.